What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. There we go. I reversed it around, but I got it right. 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. What do I also do? Oh, I am a featured content contributor. You know what? I forgot to say that. The Dove Men Plus Care and our team, it's been one of those mornings already. Our team has reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world since 2020. So I always feel blessed about this because fathers and families are really, really good. I fully believe that the better fathers are, the better the families are, the better world will be in. I also am a featured content contributor to the Indie Soup Media TV network, and that's a network of independent content creators, about 34 of them now. The network's been around since about 4, coming up to 5 months now, and already has over 14,000 YouTube subscribers. So I feel very happy and blessed to be part of that network as a content contributor and also on the advisory board. And I also do some other things in the background for that network, and it's powered by our good friend Dr. Tachi out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So let's get some housekeeping done. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. So if you've been watching, I've been live on the replay over the last few weeks. I've been nicely saying, hey, if you are up to it, if you haven't done it yet and you're up to it, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're only now 15 subscribers away from the 1,500 mark. So if you're up to it, we'd love to get to that 1,500. Let's see if we can do it in the next 2 weeks. Can we get to 1,500 subscribers on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel in the next 2 weeks? That's a challenge to you all, and I'll put it out wherever I can. Also, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. On top of that, advertise your business, product, or service on the show or any of the shows that I host or part of. Email me, dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. And finally, join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Please feel free. Email me at dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. So for regular family, I don't know where Ryan is. I hope he's okay. The last time I communicated with him was about a week ago, but I know this is really detailing nights, heavy season. So Ryan, I hope you're okay. Would love to hear from you, just to know that you and your wonderful family are doing fine. All right, we got someone already chiming in the morning. 2 people. Oh, family, Fitness IQ Cam, Monin, JJ Mars. What's happening, Dr. V? Everything is happening. How are things in Colorado weather-wise? You know you're our Colorado weather reporter, so I'm expecting a weather report in the comment section. All right, a few things. Let's get it down. This Friday, July 12th, 2024, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Let me just take this thing out of here so you can see it fully. Let's do this. 2 members of the board from the BBPA, the Black Business and Professional Association, are scheduled to be on the Morning Vibe to discuss allegations against their organization. So that is happening this Friday. So people, tell people, get it out there. This Friday is going to be another epic conversation. We do those every day. Every day we have epic conversations. But this Friday, one of the more significant stories that's been going on in the African Canadian landscape this year, a lot of things going on, a lot of allegations, this, that, other thing. So I would say, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody, get on the good foot so we can have an epic conversation with them. All right. So that's one thing down. And as I'm just going to do, as I put everything back up here, I'll do this. The 2 representatives we'll have on are Janelle St. Omer. She's the interim chairman. And Brian Duarte, interim vice chairman of the BBA, will be addressing the community. So that's this Friday. If you're following me, you've got the notification already. If you haven't, put it in the books. All right? Simple as that. So let's see what other comments are going on. JJ Mars says, Colorado heat wave going on. Yes, a lot of parts of the United States, and even just in the Toronto area, it's hot. It's hot. And we haven't had any rain, significant rainfall for a while, but you know what happens, especially in the summertime. You get a number of days of heat, and you're going to get that downpour. But the thing is, a lot of times in Toronto, right after it, the humidity comes back. Alice Fazuli, good morning. How are you? Long time no chat. Hope all is fine. So I know Fitnance, I know JJ Mars, you subscribe. Alice, how are you? You know what? I am blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Blackalicious. That's how I am. Yes. And Alice, are you a subscriber to the YouTube channel? If you're up to it, I'd love you to be a subscriber. Fitness IQ Cam says yesterday was hot. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. And she says, nearly popped down during my game. I don't understand. Don't understand. Alice Fully says, cool. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, we're supposed to be getting all right. Alice, she said she just hit the button. Thank you. Another subscriber. That means we're 14 away from 1,500. Kemba, wow. Kemba Frederick. There, I miss you, Kemba Williams. How are you, your family, and your sister's family doing? You know what? I'm going to put on a point to give you a call in the next day or two just to check in. Kemba and I have we always have really good conversations. So I'm looking forward to another epic conversation with Kemba Williams. Her and her sister run a great service in regards to real estate. And you know, Kemba, why don't you put it in the chat, the link to your service you and your sister provide. I'd like to put up on the screen. Okay, Alice Fazuli says, high five. High five. High five. High five. Fitness IQ says, pop down, Nikki, pass out. Oh my gosh, are you okay? Wow. And Absolutely says, I'm here to see Carolyn. Don't worry, everyone is here to see Carolyn. You're not here to see or listen to me. Alice Fazuli puts smiley face. Hey, I don't mind. At least you're honest. At least you're honest. So yeah, a lot of things going on in Toronto this past weekend. Afrofest was going down. Traffic is traffic. What else? What else is going on? And what were you up to this weekend in the Toronto area or in Colorado or wherever you're watching this? And Alice says, of course, I'm here for you. Support. No problem. I appreciate that. I appreciate that 100%. For myself, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to put it up on the screen. KeenGroup.ca. They do great stuff, Kemba and her sister, in regards to real estate in the at least GTA area and maybe even wider than that. So Kemba and her sister, great. Oh, yes, Alice Fazuli said Salsa on St. Clair was this weekend. Did you go, Alice? And she also said that Afrofest was going down. Yes. Also in the Scarborough area, there was a Taste of Lawrence that ran between Warden Avenue and Birchland Avenue went on. Fitness IQ says, me here to see both y'all. Thank you. At least I rate once in a while. And Alice Fazuli says, I didn't do anything. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Toronto's getting to the point, especially for me, the traffic is sometimes it's not, you have to really is it worth trying to fight all the traffic and congestion? You know, and no matter where you live, how is traffic where you live? And if you're watching in the greater Toronto area, what do you think about this Toronto traffic that's not getting any better? And where you live, what's the traffic scene? Alice Fazuli says, I'm in Scarborough. There you go. Yeah, and even in Scarborough, that's where I live, which is part of the greater Toronto area. Traffic is just, I just like staying in my yard these days. Colorado says, Colorado has the same thing like Afrofest. It's called Black Arts Fest. Nice. Thank you. You see, we got some international flavor. Black Arts Fest. Have you ever attended JJ Mars? And if it is, give us a little rundown. Alice Fazuli says, I hate it. The traffic. She goes, Thumbs down on traffic. I agree. I'm thumbs down on it. Really and truly. It is just not fun. Kemba, I live near Western Road in the 401. Traffic is always heavy. I used to work in that area. I used to work at Western Road and Lawrence. And even back then, it was just cray-cray. Alice Suzuki says, Scarborough is insane. Yes, it is insane. And that's not even the core of downtown Toronto. Really and truly, I plan my outings very strategically. Like during a weekday, though the traffic is a little bit less because we're on summer now, I had to make a trip last week, and this is people who know Toronto a bit, from Scarborough to basically Kipling and the Gardiner. And the Gardiner Expressway is the main thoroughfare for downtown Toronto Lake, east-west. And I said, oh, this is going to be, it only took me about 35 minutes. Now, I left around 10:30. That's a different thing. But even on regular weekdays, I try to travel if I have to, only between about 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Outside of that, no thank you. Yeah. Fitness IQ says traffic was horrendous. And she goes, all the way there. Yeah, it was only the 35 minutes. I was amazed. Coming back was a little bit of a story, but getting down there, I don't like it when I'm going to somewhere and it takes a long time to get there. Coming home, I don't mind how long it takes because I know I'm going to my yard. I'm good. I'm safe. JG Mars, it's a summer event that features various forms of entertainment, art, and food vendors. So that is Black Arts Fest in Colorado. Thank you for that update. Just a little interesting story. I had the opportunity yesterday to be introduced to some young Black gentlemen, really nice guys, mature. So we were having great conversation, etc. And I said, hey, if you'd like to stay in touch, here's my email address. And they said, and then I said to them, when are you going to email me? They, oh, sometime this week. I go, what day this week? And they're going, wow, he's serious. I go, so one of them said today, which was yesterday, and the other one said yesterday. Both of them emailed me. I responded to both of them. And then one of them responded to me late last night. And this is just, you never know what's going on in someone's life. And he said to me, he responded, thanks for getting back to me. Of course, I need to say, community, I would like to be part of this organization. I'm okay, but I might be homeless by Tuesday morning. But other than that, I'm okay. You never know what's going on in people's lives. You know what? I always say you never know what's going on. It's a book under the cover. I've sent him an email back saying, hey, would love to chat and see if there's anything I can do to potentially help you. And I see he's already emailed me back. So after our conversation today, I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to make the time, invest the time in him to see if there's any. And here's someone I had a 5-minute conversation with, and now finding out that he could be homeless by tomorrow. That's something. That's something. So I just wanted to impart on that. This weekend, if you caught it yesterday, myself and Cesar Nadima Musa had a great conversation on Black Canada Talking. We talked everything from the politics of France, politics in America, Bronny James. It was a great conversation. So go on the YouTube channel, especially, and watch the repeat. Fitness IQ goes, wow. Yeah. That hit me this morning before I started getting everything set up. And then she says, indeed, you never know what's going on underneath the cover. All right. There's more I'd like to share, but today the conversation is not about me. They're about wonderful people like Carolyn. And I think she can relate to the story I just shared because I know she's a server. And I know she's going to be taking a trip somewhere. And I know she's going to hear a number of these stories. So we're going to take a break on the Morning Vibe. We'll be back in a few moments after a little bit of a break. And we'll have our monthly visit from Carolyn Nichol. And we got a great subject to chat about, especially during this hot season. All right. So keep it locked. We're on the morning vibe, and we'll be back in a few minutes. And get ready.
Wow, wow, wow. What an awesome discussion and interview with Dr. Vibe. You can see why he's so successful, has so many awards, has so many accolades. Dr. Vibe listens so well to the person he's interviewing, and he loves bringing out their story to share with his audience. My name is Ramon Ray, founder of smarthustle.com, and I just had a great experience sharing with Dr. Vibe and his audience about my journey. And I want to say a big thanks to Dr. Vibe, big thanks to your community, Dr. Vibe, because clearly you love what you do, and you're a shining beacon for us all to focus on entrepreneurship, be better fathers, grow our families, and live and have great businesses. So thank you so much. I can't wait to work with you again. You're an amazing, amazing interviewer and first-class professional. Thank you so much.
All right, Raymond Ray, wonderful gentleman who does a lot of great stuff entrepreneurs-wise for entrepreneurs in the U.S. So good. Thank you for those kind words. So you are watching the Morning Vibe, July 8th. It's going to go by fast, but as I was saying to our someone just this morning, let's enjoy it a day at a time, please, and thank you. Don't rush it. Please don't rush it. All right. So for new people, but also for family, once a month, do we get lit when it comes to nutrition? We get lit by a wonderful lady named Carolyn Nichol. And today's conversation topic, this is going to be good. And this came out of, I think it was Divine Right in the DMV area talking about this, I think a month or two ago, and said, okay, we need to chat about this. So today we're going to be talking about sugar, drug, or simple guilty pleasure. Now, look, family, if you don't have questions about this, I got to wonder. Now, I have a whole pile of questions, so I hope Carolyn's ready for me this morning because I am loaded with questions today. So let's bring her on and say good morning with a wonderful backyard. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. There's no traffic here.
Yes, I know. Yes, where is here?
I am about 4 hours north of Toronto, which I'll be back down in Toronto, actually. Hopefully this week. We leave for Cuba on Friday.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
tell people about what's going on with your Cuba, because people may or may not know. So please share with it.
Yes. So there's about a group of 14 of us, Energy Shack followers, a few of my own family members. So in total, 14 of us that are doing a mission trip to Cuba. We are going to be taking natural remedies and actually mostly using the remedies that are available in Cuba. And we are going to be teaching the local people how to reverse diabetes, high blood pressure, digestion issues, inflammation with their local foods and herbs. We are going to be teaching them basically how to naturally reverse disease and use natural remedies. And then we're also going to divide up in groups, and part of the trip, we're going to be going into the towns and villages to people that are really not well, cancer, neuropathy, people that can't work, and we're going to be, that can't really move. And we are going to visit them with the natural remedies and go into their homes and show them how to do it. We're very excited. We are we are supported, or I won't say sponsored because it's totally a volunteer opportunity, but we were invited by the SDA conference in Cuba to come down. So with that being said, we're also doing a meeting every night for 4 nights and teaching people the love of God too, giving them some hope in their very desperate world in Cuba.
Wow. And when did the planning, okay, no, what was the impetus to do this?
Well, it was about, I'm going to say, I'm not very good with time. So I'm going to say about 6 months ago, friends of mine last year, maybe it's been almost a year, but they went to Cuba. And when they came back, they said, Carolyn, wow, there is such a need there. They can barely get medication. but they probably wouldn't even need it if they learned how to eat right. And I gave your name to the pastor there, and he wants you to come down and teach the people how to do things naturally, because we told him what you were doing here in Canada. I said, sure. So got on a WhatsApp call with the pastor from Cuba who had very broken English, but we were able to communicate. And he's like, we need you here. We need to learn natural remedies.
Yeah.
So that's really how it happened. And I said, well, he just wanted me and my family to come. They were going to put me up. There's a small room in one of the churches. Not that I don't mind sleeping there, because believe me, I'm good to even just sleep outside. But I'm like, no, we're going to invite everybody so that we can have a greater impact. I don't want to just come and just teach a few people. Let's like get the show on the road and do it on a larger scale. So I actually put out the email to all of our Energy Shack family. And like I said, 14 people volunteered, paid for their ticket, paid for their accommodations. Yeah, so here we are, leaving Friday.
So let me ask, make sure you document it.
Oh, of course. My documenting daughter is joining us.
There we go. There we go. Fitness IQ says such a great opportunity. And good morning. Wayne Harris is in the house saying good morning to you. How are you or the wife? We're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles and a solution for someone's problem. This, you know what? I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. You know what? We're really stepping into the unknown. There's so much political unrest there. There's so much poverty. The food is somewhat unknown. Yes. We're all going down as mostly vegans, and we don't even know if we're going to be eating what we're eating, but it doesn't matter. We're packing the gluten-free bread and the nuts in our bag. And if that's all we need, that's all we eat, we're okay with it. But we're really stepping into very unknown territory, but like we're good with it. We've been having prayer once a week together with the group, and the donations are coming in. I mean, now we need suitcases, but we've got so many bags of toothbrushes and toothpaste and women's clothing, eyeglasses, diapers, children's games. So, people have been very generous. There's been monetary donations. Of course, we have to do lots of transportation, pay our interpreters. And I mean, there's just so much, but yeah, we haven't done anything like this in another country. I do this all the time in Canada, but to be able to go and teach people with their native plants, how they can reverse disease, and it's in a different language. I don't even speak their language. This is it's pretty wild.
But you know something, Carolyn? You speak the language of love.
I speak the language, and there is the gift of tongues in the Bible. So I'm sure I will open my mouth and out will come Spanish.
There you go. Yeah, this is, and how long are you there for?
So just exactly 7 days. So we'll arrive Friday and then we'll leave again the following Friday. And it's full. The itinerary is so full. Our group just went through everything and it's head spinning full. Long days. We're going to be having 8-10 hours of training every day. And in the evenings, then we're going to go into the evangelistic series, and then we'll be on the road for another 8-10 hours, going into people's homes in the towns and villages. But that's what missionary work's about. I mean, you just go and give your all and come back and rest.
Amazing. I cannot wait to be with you when you get back.
Yeah, I can't wait to share the stories and all the pictures.
And I don't want it to be a vision. I want to be side by side with you sharing with me physically.
We'll make a date.
Yeah, and Wayne says, "Good morning, Miss Carolyn. Safe travels to Cuba." So there he's cheering you on also.
Him and I have had some good conversations already. Thank you, Dr. Vibe.
Appreciate that. No, I'm touched. That's fantastic. That's why I do what I do. When people with the right heart and right intentions who don't know each other, I can bring them together and they make magic. So that's fantastic. There's so many ways we could go about this conversation today. Like I've got a pile of questions. What do you want me? How you want to roll this today?
Well,
because I got lots of questions.
Yeah, so you know what? You are. I mean, that little commercial there was like bang on. You're such a good listener, and you have good probing questions. But I think that maybe I'll just start with the introduction of sugar, and then I definitely have some points to make, but I'm sure it'll come across as you ask the questions. But it's a real problem. It's a real problem, and it's a real addiction. And I think the problem is that people don't understand the problem. That's what I think the problem is. And I don't like the history of sugar. The history of sugar makes me never want to touch it. There were, but let's just understand that sugarcane and beets are like the two main sources of the refined sugar. And this is what we're talking about today, is refined sugar, that, bleached white stuff that looks like, and surprisingly acts like, cocaine in the body. But is there small quantities that are okay in the body? Is there not? But let's just go back and just like understanding where it came from as far as the plant source. So the two main plant sources for refined sugar is cane sugar and beets. And cane sugar and beets are incredible, immune strengthening, heart healthy, cardio issue reversing. So like, for instance, if you take sugarcane, it's loaded with minerals, B1, B6, B3, B2. It has iron in it. It has so much calcium in it. Like, sugar cane, if you take that sugar cane and you chew on it, it's full of nutrients. And beets as well, tons of fiber, nitrates, which actually strengthen your heart muscles, dilate your blood vessels so your blood pressure goes down. It's full of B6. It's got calcium. It's a good source also even of iron. I mean, beets are so full of fiber. So these two sources are incredible for you. They're very, very healthy. So the problem is, as I'm sure we can resonate in our own life, is the refining process. That's the problem, right? Nobody likes to go through a refining process. But that's the problem. What they do. So now we're going to take this wonderful nutrient-dense sugarcane, these wonderful nutrient-dense beets, okay? And we're going to put them through a process that totally eliminates all their fiber, which we'll get to a little later on, because that's what saves you from a sugar rush and from detriment to your body. But let's get rid of all that fiber. So understanding all of these nutrients strengthen your immune system. All of these nutrients are necessary for digestion. Why would we eat something that has nothing in it, right? So our body has a need. And if you don't have nutrients with your food, your body actually can't even digest it. So if I eat something without nutrients, my body has to find nutrients in my system to digest that. So you want to eat foods that have nutrients, because that's how it's properly digested and transported through the system. And you want to have food that has fiber, because then if there's any glucose in your food, like an apple or a mango, the fiber slows the uptake of sugar into the system. So now we have sugarcane and we have beets that are loaded with fiber and nutrients. And we put them through this refining process that takes out all the fiber, cooks them till there's not a nutrient left, and evaporates it, brings it back to a substance that's crystallized and heated, so no nutrients are left. And all you have is the sweet stuff. No fiber, zero nutrients. Wow.
Okay, all right. So I think you've given a good description of what exactly is sugar and what are the what are the different types found in foods?
So mostly, and what I want us to be is real critical thinkers, okay? So let's not just go with the masses, but really think about it. Sugar in itself is very inexpensive. Maple syrup, it has some nutrients in it. Honey has nutrients in it. Dates have nutrients in it, but they're very expensive compared to white plain sugar. So it doesn't matter where you're getting it from, whether it's sugar cane or whether it's beet sugar, it's completely refined. They're exactly the same to the body. But most everywhere, whether it's your ketchup, whether it's your teriyaki sauce, whether it's your even cigarettes have sugar in it. I mean, but they are going to use the cheap of the cheap sugar, because why would companies and manufacturers besides the Energy Shack use a very expensive sugar that's not refined for your health? Billions of dollars are put into the food science industry to make sure that the right amount of sugar, fat, and salt is added to a food for your addiction and pleasure, not for your health. So the type of sugar that's in almost every food on the market is just that refined sugar.
Good stuff. See, I'm coming with the questions. And then how does the body process sugar?
So here's the thing, is that generally what happens is if you eat an apple, that apple has fiber, it has water, it has glucose naturally, it has carbohydrates which turn into sugar. That's what it is. So it has it's got vitamin C in it, it's got antioxidants. So when that gets digested, because there's so much fiber, all of the carbohydrates slowly get taken into the bloodstream, to the liver, and then out through the bloodstream. But even though your apple may contain, 6 or 10 grams of sugar when it's all said and done, it doesn't go into the bloodstream immediately, because the fiber slows down the uptake of the sugar, and the nutrients have to be broken down to their molecular state. So it's a slower process for fruits or any of your plant foods to turn into sugar. Now, what happens is your liver takes your carbohydrates, converts it to glucose, and then it has to leave the bloodstream. And the purpose of that is that your blood, the highway of all nutrients, it's your transportation method, it has to go inside your cell. So once the glucose goes inside your cell, it goes with other molecules and energy is created. That's how your heart beats. That's how your liver functions. That's how you have energy to even move your hands up and down or blink your eyes. You need energy. Your brain actually uses 25% of the glucose for your entire system. Your one small brain uses 25% for all the glucose. Your brain is constantly using glucose. So it's absolutely necessary. But the problem comes when the sugar has no fiber and has no nutrients, because the only way for glucose to get inside the cell is that when glucose is released from the liver, it signals your pancreas and its beta cell clusters to produce insulin and release it into the bloodstream, because insulin must go on the insulin receptor, unlock the door so glucose can get in. So insulin is basically the transportation mechanism for glucose to get inside your cell.
Nice. Hey, people, especially if you're watching live, you don't have any questions about sugar? Really? You want me to ask all these questions? I don't believe you. All right, let me ask. What are the short-term and long-term effects of consuming sugar on the body?
Great question, Dr. Vibe.
Well, I she said a few months ago, you dashed me and you said, Ryan, you know what? So I said, okay, I got to step up. So I got my constitution of questions today. So I hope you have a little while, because I'm going in today with you.
So here's the thing about sugar, the long-term and short-term effects. This is like the whole thing in a nutshell, really. is what are the long-term and short-term effects of sugar. So I want you again just to think with me about the human body. So as we talked about, an apple going into the bloodstream, because it has the fiber, so it's slowly regulated. Our pancreas, our thyroid, our kidneys, our gallbladder, these are very fragile organs. Okay, so inside your pancreas, you have all these beta cells, these alpha cells, you've got these islets, like they're fragile tissues. They're designed to work, but there's something about a wave that crashes on the ocean that our land can handle, and there's something like a tsunami that we can't. It floods everything, right? So we create tsunamis. That's basically what we do, because if you eat sugar, there's no fiber and there's no nutrients. Okay, so that's going right into the liver. There's like very little conversion process. Your liver has to get rid of it, and it goes shooting through the bloodstream in massive amounts. We're not talking 1 or 2 grams of sugar entering into the body, over a few minutes. We're talking like 1 can of pop is like 46 grams. No fiber, no nutrients. We're talking about, 1 cupcake or 1 muffin. We're talking anywhere from 10 to 20 grams of sugar. A chocolate bar, like you're getting close to like 30, 35, 40 grams here. So now you have this tidal wave of sugar going into the bloodstream. So your liver is just like, whoa, we don't need this much insulin. We need this much insulin. And so it has to send all these communication messengers to the pancreas. No, I don't need regular amounts of normal God-given insulin. I need massive amounts. And those islets in there have to all of a sudden cluster, produce all this insulin, release so much in the bloodstream because it can't stay in the bloodstream. Sugar is so corrosive. But that process, it takes a bit of time, and sugar is going, that amount of sugar is going to be floating in your bloodstream. It's extremely corrosive. And so now because it's corroding your arteries, it's corroding especially already inflamed areas. You might have some joint pain or elbow pain or finger pain. It makes the blood very thick, that kind of sugar. So your circulation's impeded. Cytokines are released to all these different sites that are getting corroded. That's your immune messengers. And if they're constantly released to a site, they actually start to break down your tissues. So your blood's getting thick, your inflammation's going high, and your poor immune system is being hammered on. Because I was reading a study where somebody had no sugar for 24 hours, and the body was able to kill 14 different bacteria, viruses on the spot. And after just 7 teaspoons of sugar, it lost its ability by 25%. And after about the amount of sugar that's in the slice of a large cheesecake or birthday cake or milkshake, it lost its ability by 92%. So your immune system's hammered on, inflammation's increased, circulation your blood is thick, and your hormones are way off because all these messengers are going to the pancreas. Insulin, which is a hormone, is being released. And we'll talk about this dopamine in maybe a few seconds, but let's just understand. This means diabetes. This means high blood pressure because the blood's thick. This means erectile disorders because your male and any guy's male's functions 99% off circulation. This means that your immune system is down and your hormones are imbalanced. PCOS, thyroid issues, fibroids, endometriosis. I mean, all of these issues are affected because of sugar.
Well, as I said, and going in, and the family is now reporting for questions. So Fitness IQ goes, I'm just in awe. Now, first question from Mr. Harris. Sugar is in everything. What are the worst Caribbean foods with the most amounts of sugar?
Well, I would say I could be wrong, but um, a lot of the drinks. So the sorrel drinks, very few people drink sorrel with no sugar. You've got your ginger beers, but understand sugar, it's hidden. I know it's in everything. So anything packaged, and that's why I promote, live, and teach people how to have a whole plant-based diet. As soon as you take something from a package, it's compromised. But understand that your breadfruit, your dumplings, boiled or fried, it's just glucose. It's carbohydrates that convert to sugar in the body. So there's a danger in all of it. Yes, we're talking about refined sugar, but if you eat too many carbohydrates that are from refined flours, I mean, again, breadfruit's okay, but there's so few nutrients. How much of that are we going to eat? So all of that converts to glucose in the system, and then it's stored, and then it's going to have very adverse reactions. Not the same reaction as the sugar that's in the sorrel, the sugar that's in your ginger beer, the sugar that's, in your black cake, but you're still going to have very adverse reactions.
Okay. Next conversation piece. C Nurse K. Good morning, all. Hi, Carolyn. What are your thoughts on date sugar? And kudos to you for the amazing work you are doing.
So date syrup, I definitely keep some date syrup here, but understand that it's dates that are cooked, so they're heated, so a lot of the nutrients are lost, but then it's blended. So there is some fiber in there. It's all chewed up mechanically. But so date syrup's a better option because there's still some nutrients, but you still have to use it sparingly. Otherwise, you are going to be hitting your dopamine receptors. And that's like one of the biggest things that I think we need to understand is what's happening when we consume sugar to our neurotransmitters, because that's like the death sentence for our brain. And all of these issues that I've mentioned from sugar, you may say, oh, well, it's okay. I'll eat sugar, I'll recover. But unfortunately, science has showed that when you create those detriments to yourself, you pass them on through your genes to your children, because sugar affects hormones, and hormones is what affects your sperm, what affects your eggs, your whole reproductive system. So this is not even just about you or me.
What impacts does consumption of sugar have on mental health and cognitive functions?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, Dr. Vibe, because that's the next thing up. You plan this? Can you plan this backstage? What's going on?
No, I like I said, I'm doing the best I can to raise the bar, especially when you're on, to make sure that you're all in like you always are. But I want to make sure it's reciprocal.
Awesome. So this is the big one for me, is the whole mental health thing, and family. I think mental health is probably the biggest issue that we're battling today when it comes down to all of it. We're highly stressed out. We can't function. We can't think, but we're very addicted. We're addicted to caffeine. We're addicted to sugar. We're addicted to video games. We're addicted to screen time. We're addicted to things that are reprogramming the actual neurological pathways in our brain. And then we think we're depressed and we think we have anxiety, which it would appear that we do. So I'm not saying that you don't, but the problem really, we weren't seeing depression and anxiety in such grave numbers as we are today 100 years ago. People were outside, they were busy. You had to go get your potatoes to eat them. You had to unshell your nuts to eat them. There was work for your food, and there wasn't screens, there wasn't lights flashing at our eyes, creating these hormone imbalances. But with that being said, is that everybody has a wonderful reward center in their brain. So eating natural good foods or your favorite meal, it hits your reward center. Naturally your body creates endorphins. If two people have a mutual loving relationship and they have a sexual interaction, that releases all of these wonderful endorphins in the brain. But for the most part, when you're doing that in a mutual place, or when you have a meal that's satisfying, after you have the meal, you don't want to have another meal. Doesn't make you do that, because natural dopamine and hitting that reward center, it's like it satisfies and you've had enough. A loving couple will have an interaction, a sexual interaction, and it's like, yeah, maybe one more time, but for the most part, you enjoy each other's company. It makes you feel good to have spent that special moment together. The problem with sugar is that it hijacks your dopamine receptors. It fills them with dopamine from an external force. It doesn't come from within deep satisfaction emotions through the frontal lobe. So unfortunately, when that sugar wears off, your body's looking for those sensors again to fill your dopamine, and your natural dopamine starts depleting. That's why pornography makes people not be able to have a healthy interaction or a healthy relationship and a healthy sexual interaction, because they keep hitting their dopamine receptors and their natural dopamine drops. So they don't desire it from a good mutual loving relationship. They need that because that's all that gives them the reward. So you need your sugar over and over and over again, because you've lost and are losing your ability for dopamine to give you natural satisfaction from just a regular, nourishing, wonderful meal. But that's ADHD, that's memory loss, that's lack of sleep, that's ADD, that's depression, that's anxiety. Lack of dopamine, lack of serotonin. Now we're talking about a major hormone imbalance that is very, very difficult to recover from. And then you just don't get these natural joys in life. You have to have that sugar to make you happy.
I'm getting a sense that we may be doing a part 2. I'm getting a sense, because with the conversation pieces that people are putting in the comment section, plus my conversation pieces, we may be aiming at a part 2, but we'll go with the flow. C Nurse K has a question. Detoxing from sugar can be quite challenging. Do you provide your clients a plan for this?
Yeah, you know what? I have to say, and I can't mask or hide my Christianity here. God is amazing. Is that you can have years and years and years and years of, eating sugar and eating all the wrong things. And within 36 hours, you can actually recover from the dopamine. And when you stop filling your body with external forces that create that dopamine effect, your body will start producing it again, starting in 36 hours. But you really need up to 5 days. And the truth is, almost 30 days to fully recover. But it usually happens to most people within 5 to 10 days. And, there's this saying out there that 21 days forms a habit. That's kind of a myth. We've kind of made that up. There's not a lot of scientific backing for that. I've noticed that in my practice, you really need a good 30 days. But yes, you can totally, you're looking at a sugar addict. It wasn't one cookie, I had to have 10. And now I don't need any cookies. It's really incredible. But it took a long time of going on long sugar fasts. And then you go and you hit those dopamine receptors again. You're like, yeah, this didn't give me that same. And I don't like that I'm back on this. So, it can take years to really overcome the sugar addiction. But the real change can happen in 5 to 10 days. And yes, we have programs that help you do it.
And just to nice segue on the screen, contact information for Carolyn and the Energy Shack Juice Bar crew posse, and also on whatever, most of the platforms that you're watching this live on the replay, it's in the comments section. So that has been taken care of. All right. Next conversation piece that we're going to put up here is from Hayton Morrison. Good morning, Hayton. He says, Can you compare refined sugar to maple sugar and brown sugar?
Yes. So brown sugar is no better. Don't let any of your grandparents fool you. Brown sugar is no better than white sugar. It's just processed a little bit different way. Um, it's actually just roasted in a different way. So your brown sugar is completely and totally refined. There's nothing in it. It's not like the olden days where molasses was mixed in with it. But again, even table molasses has very little nutrients. Blackstrap molasses, now we're talking a little different. So honey, date syrup, blackstrap molasses, maple syrup, there are some nutrients in it, but there's little to no fiber. So they're still not okay. They're a better option to have than refined sugar, but they still have to be used sparingly because there's just 6 grams of sugar in like 1 tablespoon. That's a lot.
Yeah, the conversation pieces are coming in now. The family's pouring in. Wayne has another conversation piece. The history of sugar has been brutal to many of us brought here to the Americas. Isn't it ironic that we voluntarily allow it to kill us today after literally fighting for our freedom?
I was looking at the statistics with the whole basically with the whole slavery trade, and there was over 12 million slaves brought from Africa to America and Europe for the whole entire sugar trade. And here's the problem is that it's so disheartening to realize that more lives were lost and completely and totally exploited than in the 2 world wars that we've had put together. But here's the reality is that when this whole emancipation thing happened in the 1830s and slavery was abolished, and I have to put that in quotes because I think it's not fully even today, but when that happened, all of these wealthy, extremely wealthy white Europeans and Americans could no longer afford to sell their sugar because they had to now pay for their labor. It was a real problem. But the reality is, even if you look around America and Europe today, this is generational money that was built on the backs of Black people over refined sugar. Just putting all those pieces together, it makes me just never want to, first of all, there definitely should be, we pay our natives today for the land that we took from them and live on, but Europe and Canada and US and all of these people are rich today because of the cotton industry and the sugar industry, which was booming industries of Black people that never got paid a cent. In fact, were completely exploited. I mean, it just makes me just not want to participate in that industry at all.